Hey, you guys. I forget. Okay, welcome to the channel. My name is Kiara. Welcome back to my tribe. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I had a really quick video idea this morning that I wanted to come answer. And so I was like, let me hop on real quick. I'm not really expecting anybody to be on here this morning, but I wanted to go ahead and get it done. Hi, how are you? Good morning. And so the question that I had for you guys, or I would like to answer, is no, I didn't sign the contract. I'm not gonna take the contract out of the state yet. So I did speak to some people yesterday about some different contracts, but I'm not gonna go. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. So I'm not what I decided on doing was actually taking I'm gonna be taking shifts. I'll pick up some shifts here through CareRev instead of going out of the state. So I have a lot of stuff that's going on here as far as my animals and stuff. And when I sat back and kind of did, I thought about it a little bit more. I decided that I was just like, that's probably not gonna be the best move to just up and leave immediately. However, I am gonna be looking for a contract possibly in the state of Florida, so I don't have to just drop a lot of my responsibilities on my mom. So if I was to leave, like my mom would have to help with the animals and things like that, and my dog, it was just a little bit much for me to just up and leave at the last minute. So I decided I wasn't going to do that, and if I can't find a contract locally, then that's just, yeah. So but I can pick up. So what I was telling, I made a video not yesterday, the day before yesterday, that CareRev, which is like it's an app or it's a website too, but they have shifts that you can pick up and not have to commit to a contract. Is it Kia? Yeah. Thank you so much for my message. You welcome. Yeah, you work the night shift. You welcome. You welcome. I love I love responding to you guys. I do need to do better with my web bit, with going to Instagram to answer my email, my messages. That's the beauty of it. Yes, it is. So I do like Hair Rare for that. Oh wow, so you finna go to sleep. You gonna be sleeping good. Sorry for the noise, you guys. My trash people actually finna come by here in a minute too, so it's gonna get a little noisy. But I was wanting to talk to you guys today about. Also, I was in a group. I'm in not an Instagram. I can't even speak this morning. I am in a Facebook group. I really need to go to school for this. I might be getting out of the military. I'm at board. I need direction. You know what? I don't want to tell you to go to school to be a surgical tech. I'm not gonna even lie. But I'll tell you that if you do decide to go to it, let's just say it like this. Have a plan. What's the point of going to surgical tech school? Is it the money? Okay, cool. So make a plan on how long you're gonna do it for. Don't go into it without some type of plan. Just have a plan. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the shifts. And it's funny that kids on here lost what I do in the civilian world. Become a life insurance agent. I'm not gonna even lie. Become a life insurance agent. I know that sounds crazy, but it's easier and you'll have more flexibility. It's not easier, let me rephrase, because that is gonna be your own business. But to go to school to be a surgical tech when you can make this kind of money without committing to a school and the amount of money, I don't know that I would do that. Like I'm telling you guys, the only reason that I became a surgical tech was because that's something that I did while I was in the military, and it does provide stable income for me. Especially, hold on, sorry guys, the trash people passing. I made sure I had to put my dog up. So yeah, when you're looking at it's I'm gonna touch on that leaving the military part, because when you leave the military, if there is nothing that you can do that translate out into being to you know, but if you do go to surgical tech school, the problem is gonna be how much money. Sorry guys, how much money is gonna cost you. So have a plan how much money you will spend on school, and you'll have your GI Bill, so it won't cost you nothing besides your GI Bill. But if you decide that you want to become a surgical tech, my only thing is I want you guys to have a plan, like plan it out, because this will be a career that you'll get into, and you will end up getting not stuck, so to speak, but because the income is pretty decent, it'll just keep you in the game. Like I'd like to get my associates at a community so I can. And this is what I'll tell you too. When becoming a surgical tech, a lot of people do it for a period of time and then they leave, and it's because it's very stressful as far as physically on your body, mentally at some facilities, and right now it's short staff. This is another reason that I'm kind of concerned with going back to the OR, is because it's short staff right now, and I know that means that we're gonna be working. And so I don't. That's just not appealing to me to be having to work like hours and not getting breaks and things like that because there's not enough people to give breaks. But I will tell you to do something in conjunction with being a surgical tech if you want to be a surgical tech. But I wouldn't. I don't know if I would tell you to go be a surgical tech after being in the military. I don't know that I would tell you to do that. I would almost tell you to go work at the VA because you'll make about well, depending on what job you do, you'll make close to the same amount of money. But I did want let me touch on this shift. Which shift is better? So I saw this question, and I can't remember which group I'm in on Facebook. And the question was from a new surgical tech, and her question was pretty much, which shift should I take? Should I work 8-hour shifts or should I work a 12-hour shift? And it's funny that I saw that question because these are questions or these are issues that you will come up that'll come up while you're traveling as well. So if you want to work 12-hour shifts, then you'll have more days off. But 12-hour shifts take up all of your day. So if you have things that you want to do, a 12-hour shift might not work for you if you're getting off at 7, or, from 7 8 to 7 p is normally what the shift is. It could be 11 to 11, but if you're working 12-hour shifts, then you're going to be at work all day and you might not be able to get certain things done. And if you want to go to school, then 5-hour shifts would be better for you because then you at least have the evenings that where you can go to school for other whatever else you want to go to school for to continue your education, or even if you want to have a second job, then 8-hour shifts would be more ideal. The thing is, now 10-hour shifts are good too, but it still puts you off of work at a little bit later. So a 10-hour shift typically looks like you getting off around 5 o'clock, right? And so most things are closed at 5 and you're going to be in traffic. So you have to kind of weigh your options. But I think as a new surgical tech that you should do 8-hour shifts at the beginning just until you get used to meeting everybody, to what cases you're going to get exposed to, as well as just meeting different, like making sure you know the doctors and where everything is in the in the facility. So I think at the beginning, and when you new at a specific facility, I would say do 8-hour shifts. Now, if you're a parent and if you're a single parent, then 12-hour shifts might be better for you because you only have to have someone help you 3 days a week with your kid. And if it's a 3-day PM, if you're working a 12-hour PM shift, then the kids are asleep while you're gone most of the day. And then if you're working throughout the week, they can go to school if your kids are in school. So when I was working a night shift, I would work 12-hour shifts at sometimes, and I would work I would work over the weekend so I could spend time with my son, but sometimes I would work during the week so when he was going to school, I could just sleep all day. And so that worked out for me. But I think it just depends on your circumstances and where you're at in life and what you have going on outside of work. So if you're doing a whole bunch of different things, depending on what time you need to be available for those things, you should pick your shift accordingly. So if you want to be available by 4 o'clock, then you might want to do 8 hour shifts because you'll be getting into work pretty early and then getting off at a pretty early time. 12 hour shifts, you're gonna be there. If you're working days, you're gonna be there all day. Night shifts are good, but you're gonna be tired, so you have to take that into consideration if you're gonna work 12 hour shifts. So what shift I did like, you guys, I used to like to work 12-hour weekends. Yeah, at some hospitals you can work overnight. Some hospitals, and labor and delivery definitely is somewhere. If you wanted to get a 7 to 7, I work 7 on 7 off. So you work, yes. Well, so you work from 7 to 7. I work overnight, 7 on 7 off, and I love the night shift. Yeah, the night shift is way more calm. I know some places don't have those overnight hours. So if you're a surgical tech and you're looking for certain hours, especially like overnight, I would look at labor and delivery, or you might have to go to like a bigger hospital that offers that 7 days on the night. Oh, okay, okay. Oh yeah, and for 12 hours though, Kia. Oh my God. Yeah, you getting it. 7 on 7 off. Is it? Oh, sorry guys. I did like working the night shift. But sometimes I would have things to do, and when you tired in the morning, you can't like function. You have to go to sleep and things like that, and then I'll be done slept the whole day. But I do see how that works for me. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see. At hospice, yeah. So okay, then that's cool though. That's cool. Hospice would be sad to me. I think but at least you don't have to. Well, but working at hospice in a pharmacy. Sorry, guys. The motorcycles and trucks and everybody out this morning. It's pretty nice here today, honestly, you guys. I can feel the sun already coming up on my legs. Hot. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys because when I seen the question in the chat in the group, I was like, oh, this is something that I have to take into consideration when you go to different facilities. If you're traveling, normally you won't get the chance to pick. You're just gonna fill in where they need you at. And so sometimes I would work a 12-hour shift, and then at some places they'll let you work 4 12-hour shifts, or they require you to work 4 12, especially if they're short staffed. Like I was saying, right now, you can pick up whatever shift and probably still get overtime because there is not a lot of people scrubbing, or it's not a lot of people working in general. Like everywhere I go, it seems like it's short staff, whether it's the grocery store or like somewhere to eat. It just seems in certain places it's short staff. But when you're looking at short staff in these hospitals, you're gonna be working, and which is okay if you can get overtime and you want to work overtime. But for me, this at this point in my life, if I do go somewhere, like I'm kind of flexible with my time, but I do know that I don't like to be at work Monday through Friday. So a 12-hour shift is good for me. A 12-hour, I would prefer 12-hour shifts because I don't mind having to work late for 3 days if I can have 1 or 2 of my weekdays available for me to go and take care of whatever business I need to take care of. And you're gonna need those 2 days because one of those days, if you work 3 hour shift, 12-hour shifts, one of those days you're gonna want to take to regroup. So what I would do is I would work two 12-hour shifts, take a day off, then work my last 12-hour shift, and then I would have the weekend off. Like that was something that I would try to do. Now it doesn't always work like that, and depending on like if you got people at your facility that's just like, if they see you doing it, they might try to do well, and you have to be mindful of that. But I would definitely try to pick my 2 days together, have a day off, and then hopefully have my 3 day weekend have it to where I can have like Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, or do something on the weekend where I could work Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then have the whole week off to myself and take Monday morning to recoup and then have the rest of the week off and then do it again on Friday. So that's a pretty good shift for me. But at the beginning, until you get comfortable at whatever facility you are at, especially if you're a new tech, then I think you should definitely work 8 hours until you get used to it. Same thing happened to my sister. Nurses be jealous of how she. Yeah, they do that. It's a thing. Like it's a thing. It's a thing. If, and people now, I do know what I did. I'm gonna talk about labor and delivery because they kind of offer a different. Like they offer you the 12-hour shifts normally in labor and delivery, and then two, once you feel fulfill at this one facility where I worked at, once I fulfilled my time that I could pick up like half a shift. Like I could pick up a couple of hours. I wouldn't have to do the whole shift. So I might do that if I was trying to get some extra money. But right now I have like other things going on as an entrepreneur. So if I wanted to do both together, I would prefer a 12-hour shift, and then I would just work on my business on the days that I had off versus working Monday through Friday. And every day I come home, I'm tired because, excuse me, I've worked every day. And if you're working 8 hours, you're probably going to be at work 4 a.m. So that means you'll have to be awake around like 5, depending on how far you stay, 4:35. I used to have to get up at 4:30 sometimes to even be to certain places. If it's like 45 minutes away, then, you got to take the time to get there. I will say, you know, work 8 hour shifts is not bad, but when you have other things on, 8 hours might not be. But when I was one point though, like when I was just when I had my son in school and I would have to take him to school and pick him up, 8 hours kind of worked for me because I could just have the before and after care available, and I wouldn't have to ask nobody to take him to school for me or pick him up or anything like that. But later on, I started realizing that if I could work on the weekends, then I could have like my mom or something help me with him. It depending on what I had going on, I would just work my schedule around that. So the question that the young lady had in the group was, and she was offered 8 hours or five. She was offered 5 8 hour shifts or 3 12-hour shifts. And she was asking us like what we thought. And a lot of people said to take the 12-hour shifts. But you have to take into consideration when you're a new tech, you need to have as much exposure consistently until you kind of get the hang of it, because you don't want to take a couple of days off and then you forget what you learned throughout the week. Like I did see somebody mention that, and I thought that was a very good point to hit on, because you knew like you get overwhelmed because you thought school taught you to do things a certain way, and then you get to the week and you got other people showing you how they do it, and they might not even be calling the instruments the same thing that you was taught. And so you have to pretty much just go in head at the beginning, and then once you become a little more comfortable with being a surgical tech, then maybe start adding on other things, like if you want to go back to school, or if you want to be an entrepreneur on the side, or if you have kids. Once you become established as a surgical tech, then start working the 12-hour shift so you can have more time with your kids. But if you could go somewhere and work maybe like the weekends, like pull 2 weekend, like Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, and then you got the whole rest of the week pretty much to do whatever you need to do. Now you giving up your weekends. Now some people might not want to give up their weekends. So there's that. But when you're a parent, sometimes you have to like sacrifice, or if you got other responsibilities, like maybe you take care of your parents. If you have older parents, then you need to be available, for them, and you just only want to be gone while they're asleep. So, or you could just work 12-hour shifts at night if they offer that. Some places don't have 12-hour shifts at night because they start doing OR cases at a certain time during the day. So you have to find a facility. Most trauma will have 12-hour shift, and I say there's some trauma too. Don't have 12-hour shifts at night, but they might have like an evening shift. So evening it'll be like 3 to 11, and that's not a bad shift. Kind of good because then you can still take care of what you got to do. And 3 to 11 is an 8 hour shift. So you just have to figure out like what hour shift can you work in the facility. So if it's an 8 hour shift, sorry for the win, you guys. If it's an 8 hour shift where you work you be there, if you have a spouse at home that can help you with your kids, if you have kids, or if you got somebody that can help you take care of your 30 to what is it, 3, I think is that shift. You just have to kind of look at. But for me, like I say, I like right now I like to be able to do my own thing as much as possible, and that might require me working 12-hour shifts. And so yeah, but I do think a younger take, or not younger, but somebody that's newer in the game should as much exposure as they could up front, so they just once you be around more people and you can learn from more people, then that'll be like beneficial to you. But if you're only there for 3 days, 4 days, like those 4 days that you're off, you've missed out on those cases. You might have forgot what you learned, from earlier. So at the beginning, I would probably do an 8 hour shift until I get a little more comfortable with being a surgical tech. So yeah, you guys, that's really all I had. So I guess it just depends when we talking about which shift is better. It just depends on you and what you have going on and what type of lifestyle that you live. And that's pretty much really all it boils down to. So it's not a right or wrong or which one is better overall, because they all have their own, you know, perks. Like I said, the 2 hours in you're off, but you're gonna feel 12 hours. Like, don't think you can just, like, 12 hours is just something that, oh, it's just 12 hours. Like, even 10 hours, when you're used to working 8 hours, you feel those last 2 hours or those extra 2 hours. But 12-hour shifts, when you're working from like 7 to 7, those are hard to me. Like those, and I would break it up if I could. And so yeah, you guys. Sometimes I would even like, well, I normally wouldn't want to work 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on. I wouldn't do that. I normally do 2 days together, take a day off, and then do one more day and then take that day off. But I know some people like they like to knock their 3 12s out and have their 4 days off. 12 hours hurt me. Like, I feel that. I'm not gonna even lie. But to work every day 8 hours, because I have other things that I would prefer to do during those. Like, I don't want to go to work every day. I don't want to work for people every day. So I would choose 12-hour shifts, and the weekends are good. The night weekends are really good, and you get shift differential with the night shift. So, and then it's shift differential with the night shift as well as shift differential with the weekend shifts. So when you're looking at money, like, do you want to pick it up because you get paid? Like, even though you're making more money, they tax you. So you almost sometimes don't see it unless you work in like a lot more. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. If you guys like this information, please hit the like button for me. It does help the channel. It does help with the YouTube algorithm and letting other people know what we're talking about and just spreading the word a little bit more. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would hit the like button. And is there anybody in here that would like that has any questions or want to add to? I know Kia said she liked the night shift. You welcome. You welcome so much. Thank you for joining me. Honestly, like, I have to send that energy right back out there to you guys. I might come back live later. I don't want to tell you guys that I am. Have you ever worked up north, Virginia? If that does Virginia count up north? And I'm not even really. I mean, it's cold in Nebraska too. I like the weather. I don't like being cold. I don't like being cold at all. Like, y'all, my eyes are still red. I'm still kind of sleepy, or tired, I should say. But yeah, I don't like being cold. And so, yeah, nah. Philly's cool though. I know a couple people from Philly, but it's cold up there. Yeah, that cold. See, right now it's okay because it's the summertime or spring. Is it spring? It's summertime, and so you know, you can get away with being up north in the summertime, but for me, like I'll be trying to leave like from up north in September because I know it starts my not self esteem, but it makes me feel like I need the water too. I like to be able to go to the water. But yeah, so that's really all I have for you guys in this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you again next one. Bye guys. See you later, Kia. Did it hang up? Oh, it did.